morning. Good morning. Y'all see, I ain't in my gym clothes. I had to rush. Let me make sure my mic is on. I had to rush and get dressed. Well, I didn't rush. I didn't want to say that. I went and got dressed this morning because I have to go downtown. And if you live in Atlanta, y'all know you got to go. I live outside the city limits. So good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us choose to rejoice and be glad in it. Y'all should see when I am thinking of this call and preparing, I got all my resources around here. Y'all, my name is Montina. And if you don't get the special text from me or see it someplace, if you subscribe to the channel, just Montina, you'll see that I go live. And this is Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for about 15-20 minutes. And this is for married women that want to stay married. This is also for women in relationships. This is for single women that desire relationships. I am pro marriage. I am pro relationships. And I'm going to share a story with you today about that. I am pro relationships because I believe God made us for relationships. And again, if you're happy being single, sis, I'm happy for you. But the thing about it is, if you are happy being in a relationship or married, then you should have a place where you feel safe and supported and inspired and encouraged. Because when you dip down in the valley and you're like swimming in the ocean together and you're sinking and you're drowning, we're here to lift you up and say, sis, you ain't the only one going through this. Sis, yeah, he crazy, but you better stick it out, sis. And the older women used to do that. They stuck it out, and their husbands had whole relationships on the other side of town, whole kids, whole families. Okay. Now, I don't wish that for us, but the reality is they did have the grit to stick it out. If you are around older women, like my grandmother and her friends, they're all widows. Okay, they stuck it out, and they went through some things. My grandma's twice widowed. She was married to my grandfather, then married again, and she got some stories I can't share while she's alive. But once she passes, and I don't wish that anytime soon, we're going to share it because our grandmothers went through things, but they stayed together. And we only saw where the family stayed together, right? And I had a grandmother that didn't go through some things. And I'm going to tell you something. Actually, I'm going to tell you the story on my father's side. My grandmother's the reason why I decided to get married my second and my third time, because she said the one regret she had, she was in her 70s. She said was that she didn't marry again. She was a beautiful woman. My grandmother on my father's side, oh my God, gorgeous. But she told me, she said, you want to be in a relationship. She got to the point where she was just too old. She just gave up. Okay, so again, you should feel safe to be in a relationship. You should feel safe to be in your marriage. And guess what? It's work, sis. It's work. It's work. It's work. It's work. So when you get to the altar, 50% of marriages fail in divorce. 67% of second marriages end in divorce, and 73% of marriages end in divorce. 5% of people do it 3 times. Sis, if you're not proactive, you reactive. Your husband acting crazy, are you praying for him? Now, this is what I'm going to start asking people, because I'm a type of friend. When people be going in and stuff, I'm like, girl, you got a therapist? I want to talk unicorns and rainbows. And I'm going to talk about what that looks like further on. So this is why I'm doing this. There are sex addict support groups, grief support groups, love addict support groups, narcissistic personality disorder support. There's support groups for everything. But our support group is in the church. And if you're not in the church, then you probably aren't part of a marriage support group. Plus, I don't want to be praying with folks. I pray for myself. I don't like people to be laying hands on me. I can lay hands on myself. You can pray for yourself. I can pray for you. I love to pray. But you have a direct pipeline of God too. Like this is not a secret, okay? So it's not all hokey either. We need to be talking about lingerie and sex and doing a doggone thing, because my husband and I both woke up late this morning, okay? So as I go through this, there is power through the word, right? Power. Okay, you must read your word. Just read Proverbs, read something, listen to something. I try to listen to a sermon every day to inject into my spirit. There's power in your praise and adoration, canceling the assignments of the enemy. That's why I clap. Cancel the assignments of the enemy. Maybe that's why little kids be clapping all the time, okay? The other thing is your worship. God, I just thank you for this day. I praise you for this day. I appreciate this day. Your prayers for your husband. We got to pray for these men, y'all. You need to pray. And if you don't know how to pray, I said a specific prayer yesterday, and a girlfriend texted, can you send me that prayer? Yes. You could just recite it, but pray to bind up those demonic spirits and release the fruits of the spirit in his life. Pray for him, sis. That's our responsibility, is to pray for him, because these men, again, it's not them. They are being attacked. They are literally being attacked by demons and tormented, and then they attack you. And he's like, why are he acting crazy? Because you didn't pray. Me neither. That's why I had to start the support call. I said, what is going on? My husband acting crazy. Okay, crazy. And I was like, oh yeah, no. The enemy, he was, I mean, y'all, in the spirit, I was wore out. I had to call two friends and say, I can't make it right now. I need you to pray for me. And I had a friend create a whole prayer basket and send it to me because I was at war to the point where I couldn't even breathe. Okay. And if the devil is attacking me like that, how is he attacking you? And I'm in a third marriage. Okay. Till death do us part. So, prayer, worship. And y'all know I got to make this practical every day. So, the resources I'm going to share with you, you can be like, okay, Montina, okay. So, let's start with our Joyce Meyer battlefield of the mind. Y'all, the mind is the battlefield. We have to keep our minds clear, and we have to keep our minds staying on what we want, and we have to keep our minds from ruminating, which is thinking back on, no, he didn't. Yes, he did, sis. Yes, he did. Y'all need friends like me. All right, she talks about a wandering. And good morning, everyone. Hope, Glendora, Melinda, all my friends, Bridget, Tamika. Oh, y'all so sweet to be joining me. Good morning, y'all. And a wandering mind, just wandering and wondering. In the previous chapters, we were talking about abnormal conditions of the mind. So it's really abnormal for your mind to be wandering all over the place. Do you realize that? It's like abnormal. An inability to concentrate indicates mental attack from the devil. So if you ever think like, and it could be some brain fogs, but it's still an attack from the enemy. Even if it was sickness, it's still an attack from the enemy. The enemy wants to attack us. Okay. I am not a great multitasker. You know, women are, I'm not I have to stay focused on what I'm doing right now. And I was actually at Georgia Tech yesterday. I'm a coach there for the entrepreneurship program. And the speaker there, Laura Hodgson, said, she's all in one thing and then moves to the next, all in. And maybe that's an attack from the enemy. Like, oh, you're so great at multitasking. Maybe you're not. Okay. You don't have to be. Focus. Many people spend years allowing their minds to wander all over the place because they've never applied principles of discipline to their thought life. Quite often, people who cannot seem to concentrate think they are mentally deficient. However, an inability to concentrate can be the result of years of letting the mind do whatever it wants to do whenever it wants to do it. You ever seen a body that does whatever it wants and eats whatever it wants and all that? Same thing with our minds. Okay, our minds. A lack of concentration can also be a symptom of vitamin deficiency. Certain B vitamins enhance concentration. So, if you have an inability to concentrate, ask yourself if you're eating right and are nutritionally sound. Extreme fatigue can also affect concentration. Can that affect your marriage? Yeah, you tired, girl. Get you a nap, okay? I found that when I'm excessively tired, she said the enemy will try to attack her mind because it knows it's more difficult to resist him during these times. The devil wants you and me to think we are mentally deficient, so we will not attempt to do anything to cause him problems. And guess what? Remember what I said here? We better memorize. He has, our enemy attempts to defeat us with strategy and deceit through well laid plans and deliberate deceptions. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. The devil wants you and me to think we are mentally deficient, so we won't attempt to do anything to cause him problems. He wants us to passively accept whatever lies he tells us. So, what lies are he telling you about your relationship, about your marriage, about yourself? Girl, you are amazing. Y'all know if you know me in real life, I think it too. Okay. So, what is he telling you? And I'm gonna kind of leave it there because then she goes into the wandering mind. But she says confronting issues is the only way to get on the victorious side of them. And I get it, sis. You might be thinking, girl, I can't talk to my husband about that. You can talk to his spirit. You can talk to his spirit. You can command spirits. You have authority over the spirits. You have to bind them up. And I'm going to tell you, there are days when I come on, trust me, I mean, sometimes I just be like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, y'all, oh Lord. But I want to make it practical. And here are a few ways I want to make it practical. So y'all know our self-care, self-maintenance, self-care for me. I get my hair done on Thursdays, get my hair done tomorrow. Self-maintenance is my wax. You know, I talk to my wax lady, but you know, we ain't all deep and stuff. Whereas my hairdresser, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, getting things done. But I found a way. Let's talk about this in a practical way. I hate getting waxed. I hate it. ease some of the burden in your relationship for you? What are you doing that's practical? Because, like I said, power, praise, prayer. How do we make this practical? So, I'm going to address those of you that are in relationships and not to I do yet. You want to get to I do so that you're not the special friend in the obituary. And I'm taking it and I say that, but I'm not saying it lightly. This is serious. You in a relationship, he gets all the benefits from you. You need the benefits from him too. And it's more than health and all of that. It's security and safety and commitment, right? So there's specific books, Getting to I Do, The Secret to Dating and Getting Relationships Right. I read this book before I married my husband. Marry Him, The Case for Settling for Good Enough. We hear this a lot on the internet, but we have to talk in our women's circles. Sometimes there is a case for settling for good enough. They're not perfect, sis. 80% of the time, they are clowns. Okay, they're trolls. They're demonically possessed. The other 20%, oh my God. No, 80% of the time I said it wrong. They are amazing. They are your knights in shining armor. They are your Superman. 20%, they are clowns. Put that in a 30-day month. 24 days, you're probably on bliss, but start tracking it. Like I track it in my relationship because I need to know when my husband's on his period too. Okay. The other out of 30 days, the other days, so we have 24 days and we have 6 days left. The other 6 days, I'm like, oh, he's on his period. I'm going to be emotionally mature. I'm not going to let this impact me. Thank y'all for your comments. Good morning. Good morning. You just got to go with the flow. There's books here, Why Men Marry Some Women and some they don't marry. And the inner beauty movement, I really like this one. Hello Do I Do? Look how thick it is. I started it on Audible and I actually got the book because I wanted to take notes. And then I have a friend and she mentioned something about her husband. And she's like, he has the Peter Pan. And I was like, oh my God, I have a book. The Peter Pan syndrome. Okay. For men who never have grown up. And I got this book because when I read a book and a book references another book, I get the book. So the book that actually referenced the Peter Pan book was the Getting to I Do. And why am I reading these? My husband, no, this I can honestly say it's not this, but guess what? I read it because I want the knowledge. I have a son as well, and I have a son that is married, and I want to encourage him in his marriage and relationships. I don't want him divorced. On both sides, we're all divorcees. Like, this is ridiculous. Okay. I don't want that for him. I have a daughter that has been married, bless her heart, almost 10 years. She got married at 20, another one engaged, and my son is married. He needs to stay married. They need to stay married because they don't want four different sets of grandparents at their grandson's birthday. This is ridiculous. And we need women that are pro relationship. So some of the things that I thought about again to make it practical. I woke up late this morning. My husband did tell me, I said, hey, oh my God, it's 5:44. We got to go. So I was late to my spin class. Sis, it's not too late in your marriage. It's not too late for you to start new in a great relationship with the knowledge, equipped with the knowledge, equipped with the practical. We have to have the practical. We need the practical in our careers. We have all these degrees. We have these great, businesses and things we do. We're amazing women. You better read up. But it's not too late for you to shift in your marriage. I was like 15 minutes late to class, but I still burned a whole bunch of calories, got in, and got moving. No matter what has gone on in your marriage, leave it behind. One thing men do is they compartmentalize. They're like waffles and women are like spaghetti all over. But if it's done and it's over, typically with him, it's done and it's over and they move on. They can be passive aggressive and do certain things. You'd be like, there's certain things they do. Like my husband will do, there's something he's doing right now, and it irritates the heck out of me. It's something very specific, and he knows it does. But guess what? It's been about a month, and I haven't said anything because I am emotionally mature. The other thing is surround yourself with women that are pro relationship. We're actually planning a trip to Cancun. Tamika, who's actually in the chat, when she sends me the link, I'll drop it. I really only want about maybe we're gonna do an even number of women, so no one feels like the oddball out with lunches and things like that. But we're gonna go to Cancun for like 4 days. But I'm pro relationship. And someone yesterday shared with me a sweet girlfriend, just beautiful inside out, that every time I seen her, I'm pro relationship. She's beautiful. I'm like, girl, you are gorgeous. Why are you single? And well, these men here, and I'm like, And she sat me down yesterday. Was like, I've known this guy for like 5 years. This is it. He's never been married. He doesn't have kids. I'm like, oh my goodness, girl. And it just comes full circle. But she trusted me with her heart because I'm pro relationship. I mean, listen, you're gonna have some negatives, but if you lived with me, honey, you wouldn't enjoy me every day. You probably wouldn't. I'm okay. Sometimes with dishes in the sink. My husband leaves his shoes and stuff on the floor. I walk over them. I'm not picking everything. I'm not picking up. I'm me. Stop, I get on your nerves. Yeah, I like the bed made every day. Okay, sometimes my husband, he got out today, left for work, he didn't make the bed. So listen, I don't get it an unmade bed. I would get on your nerves and you would work my nerves too. But what would we do? We'd figure it out. So surround yourself with pro relationship people. The other thing is, how many weddings have you attended? Are you checking on that bride? Because you are responsible. You were there. You stood up before God. We stood up. We need to go back to that. We need to stand up and say, I'm just checking on you, sis. I know marriage can be difficult. I'm just letting you know I'm here for you. Here's a resource for you. Yeah, we got to do better. And the other thing is make sure we're encouraging women that are in relationships. My sisters in relationships, sometimes they'll say, oh, girl, he's doing this. I'm like, girl, it's just it's really it's more normal than abnormal. But because people are so pro divorce and pro, you need to be happy, sis. You make yourself happy, okay? In whatever ways you need to, you focus on you. I love you so much, but I don't want you miserable in marriage. But it's us, okay? You married, you didn't earn the ring, honey. Because I looked at my ring yesterday. I was at the Georgia Tech. I said, oh, it's just sparkling. It's so pretty. I got me a little grown woman ring. It is what it is. You're gonna go through some difficult times. I'm gonna tell you, my husband, when I some of the stuff he do, it's amazing, but it, might fit better for somebody else. He washes the clothes and cleans the house and this that. People are like, oh my God, but you ain't gonna sit down and eat dinner with him. I told him one day, I said, I feel like a loser. I said, eat by myself. I will go sit at a bar in a restaurant and I'll eat. And he laughs because I'm like, oh, I have somebody to talk to. I'll talk to a tree if you put me next to it. That's what he said. So that's it, sis. Your hobbies are important. Your self care is important. You are important. You are absolutely amazing. Put on your whole armor today. We got it on. We're going to Cancun when Tamika gives me the link. Get around other married women, and you are in a safe space. And remember, our I said yesterday mantra, but like our theme song needs to be our anthem. Ringing the Alarm by Beyonce. I'll be damned if I see another chick on his arm. Okay, so that's you, be girl. Ring the alarm. When he make you mad, listen to that song. Gonna get you hyped up. So I'm gonna stay on the chat for just a minute. But again, thank y'all for chatting with me. The joy of the Lord is your strength. So when I say no weapon formed against you shall prosper, it's not going to work, sis. It's not going to work in your marriage and in your relationship because the joy of the Lord is your strength. The joy of the Lord is your strength. I'm praying for your success in your marriage. I hope that you have an amazing day. Stop ruminating. Stop complaining. Unicorns and rainbows. Unicorns and rainbows. What's that look like? Sis, you got on a new scent? That smells good. Tomorrow I'm gonna share a photo. What's that scent you wearing? Start talking about perfumes, unicorns and rainbows. Don't go super deep in these relationships because you're trauma bonding. All the men are crazy. Okay? It's not you, sis. But you need to do the work. So if you're not doing the work, you're not praying, you're not investing time in your marriage. I had a bug bite one time and I had to buy some pain and relief itch. You need to look for a solution to the problems in your marriage. And I wish someone would have told me in the first one because I wouldn't be in the third one. I love my husband, love him, but I would not be in a third marriage had I had something like this. You got this, sis. You can make it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, y'all. Bye.